Good morning, America. How are ya? Monday morning rail. We'll be 500 miles before the day is gone. Hi, I'm Denny Jelsma, and I'm at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum. And today is Monday, and you know what we do on Monday. You guessed it. It's show and tell starts right now.
Hi, I'm Greg Turn. Okay, today I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the industries and the scenery around it. Right here we have Capital Concrete. Capital Concrete is an industry which is actually kind of on the outskirts of FEC's Bowden Yard. It's actually, the real industry would actually be on the other side of the tracks, but we didn't have room back there, so we moved it to the front. When I first joined this organization, the ballast, the main line wasn't ballasted. None of this scenery was in it. It was just plain plywood. Obviously no road here. And so Richard built this beautiful model for Capital Concrete. And then I did the scenery. So we had to put the skills of two of us together to make what I think is a really, really nice scene. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about kind of what I did and why I did it that way. One thing I did want to mention, I know a lot of people there are a lot of different ways to do ballasting. The one tool I use that I've never seen anybody else talk about is this foam brush. And notice I've cut down the sides. This is to make it so that the brush just fits between the rails. I find that this makes spreading the ballast very easy. I've also even used this particular brush when I was ballasting some 3-rail Lionel track. You could use a 2-inch brush and cut it 2-inch brush down if you were doing S gauge. But I find that this works. I like to use this really well. And then you say, well, how did I do the ballasting? Well, one of the things, again, I think I talked in one of my other videos about using sand. There are places where I used sand here to build up around this signal, because this was just sitting on a block of cork. I put sand between the two mainline rails to build up where the gap is in the cork, because sand's a lot cheaper than ballast. And then it was a matter of simply taking a spoon, putting some ballast in the middle, spreading it with my foam. Okay. The sides of the cork, I would use this. This is an acid brush. They're cheap. You can clean them and throw them away if they get full of glue. But I would paint the sides of the cork with full strength white glue, spread some ballast on it, use this brush to kind of push the ballast into the white glue. Then, like pretty much everybody else, spread the rest of the ballast, soak it down with diluted white glue or matte medium, and that's the ballasting. So what else? Well, when they had put this track in, they left a couple of holes. There was some plywood here, but there was a hole here, and there was a hole back here. And one of the things, obviously, we have a lot of in Florida are kind of marshy areas, and I thought those would be really nice, a really nice place to do that. So again, sand around the edges to blunt cut in the plywood, and then what? To set the base, I took some tempera paint, a mixture of green, brown, and black to just kind of, as you can see, a kind of a mucky color, and covered that with gloss matte medium. I know there's lots of different ways to make water. In this case, like I said, I put on 2 coats of gloss matte medium, surrounded it with grass, weeds, This particular item here, they were some O-gauge cattails that I cut the cattail off and dipped them in Indian ink to make them look a little darker. I put the HO cattails on the one in the back. So what else did we do? Well, obviously this is a industry siding where you're going to get gravel. Here's a spot where a hopper car leaked a little bit. I had to knock that down the first time I did it. I had it so high it was fouling the couplers, so I had to kind of knock the top off the pile. Put a couple of piles of gravel. These are built on a small blue foam core. A gravel for the driving area. Richard Capital Concrete has a block wall topped with barbed wire at one end. Richard built the wall. I took some wire and bent it, and then used gray thread for my barbed wire. Again, Scenic Express and other different companies of ground foam, different size ground foams. Some grass. This grass came in little tufts, and I just put a bunch of them in there. Some trees that I know they came from Hobby Lobby. Some various pieces that were left over after Richard had built his model. If you look here, we have obviously the dump for the gravel. The conveyor comes up and then puts it up into here to the storage area for the gravel. There's, again, obviously a spot here to unload the cement. Kind of finished it off. Going over here to the road. This would have been Bay Meadows, and Rodney wanted this kind of mixture of gray and black, because some of our roads around here, that's the kind of the way the blacktop is. So I took black end scale ballast and gray end scale ballast, mixed them together, and that's what I formed the road with. And then the little things, the railroad signs, the crossing gates. But that's what I did. And then we came along, added a few other things, some Athern trucks, dump trucks, a cement truck, a couple of workers, a few barrels and other oddball stuff sitting around here, to finally make a very nice scene that took, again, 2 of us working together to make something that I think is really nice. So that's Capital Concrete, and that's the scenery portion of it.
Well, thank you, Greg. Greg is one more example why this museum is world famous. The quality of the workmanship is just second to none, as you can see what he thank you. And that's the way it is at the world-famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, where running trains every day is a pleasure.